Even Lute Olsen, Arizona's Hall of Fame men's basketball coach, thought his team had no chance to win the 1997 national championship, so much so that unbeknown to many, he and his wife actually booked a vacation to Mexico for the Final Four weekend. Arizona had a very young team that season, and Coach Olsen thought there was no way that his team would ever make it to the Final Four, let alone win the championship. Heading into the school year, even the guys on the team did not take it very seriously. At their preseason pickup games in September, they spent more time screwing around than actually working on their games. After a couple of days of goofing off, a freshman, and not just any freshman, but a walk-on named Josh Pastner, had the courage to call his teammates over and say, "Guys, we need to take this season a whole lot more seriously. For us to win a national championship this year, and believe me, we will win a championship, we need to work a whole lot harder than we are right now. We need to be in here playing seriously every day, even Friday and Saturday nights. Rather than going out, each of us needs to make a sacrifice and make this team and our season a priority." Now imagine if a freshman stood up and tried to put the upperclassmen on your team in their place. How would that go over? As you might imagine, this did not go over very well with the upperclassmen on the team, guys who were soon to be NBA first-round draft choices and multi-millionaires. Shut up, freshman. You don't know what you're talking about. Because he was trying to raise the standards of his team, Josh got a lot of resistance from his teammates and no respect as a walk-on freshman. Like Pastner, some of you will likely get some early and strong resistance from some of your teammates when you attempt to raise the bar. As a 5'11" walk-on freshman, Josh realized he had no chance of helping the team on the court. However, he knew he could still have a big impact on the team. So he grabbed a fellow freshman, a guy by the name of Mike Bibby, who went on to have a pretty successful career in the NBA. Josh grabs Bibby and says, "Mike, you're a great player. You can handle the ball well and pass the ball well, but we need to develop you into a more consistent three-point shooter for us to win a national championship. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to come by your place at 9:30 tonight, and we're going to the McKell Center, and you're going to shoot. And day by day, we're going to dedicate the time to develop you into a consistent three-point shooter." So Bibby, being a fellow freshman and happy that someone is going to rebound for him, goes with Josh to work on his shot to become a more consistent shooter. In a short time, Bibby starts figuring out that this Josh kid really does care about his team's success and is fully committed to making it happen. The non-conference season comes along and Arizona has a game against Texas. Josh goes up to Coach Olsen's office and says, "Coach, can I watch the last 5 games that Texas has played?" And Josh was so bad that Coach Olsen looked at him with surprise and said, "Josh, why do you need to see the last 5 games Texas has played? You're not going to get in." Josh says, "Oh, I know I won't play, but you and I know that Michael Dickerson is not making the adjustments he needs to at practice. I hang out with him after practice sometimes, and we eat and study together. I figure if I can watch what Texas is doing, I can help him make the adjustments he needs to make." As I mentioned, the first 2 weeks of the season, the guys blew off Josh and gave him absolutely no respect as a lowly walk-on freshman. 2 months into the season, they now started seeing Josh as a leader. The guys on the team are now going to Josh saying, "Josh, we've got Cal and Stanford this weekend. How should we attack Cal's defense? And how should I guard so-and-so on Stanford?" Now, Arizona did have a young team in 1997 and ended up finishing 5th in the Pac-10 Conference. They managed to get a number 4 seed going into the NCAA tournament. A number 4 seed is decent, but some of you know that it means there are at least 15 other teams in the nation that have a better shot of winning it than Arizona does. To win the championship, Arizona has to play against 3 of the all-time best programs in men's college basketball history: Kansas, North Carolina, and Kentucky. All 3 number 1 seeded teams. No team in the history of the NCAA basketball tournament had ever beaten 3 number 1 seeds to win a championship. Arizona beats Kansas, who was ranked number 1 most of the season. They beat North Carolina, and in the championship game, you might remember a guy by the name of Miles Simon had 30 points and helped Arizona beat Kentucky in overtime. Because of his great game, Miles was deservedly named the CBS Most Outstanding Player and was pictured on the front cover of Sports Illustrated the next week. Most people across the world thought that Miles Simon led Arizona to the championship. But after the game, the guys went into the locker room to celebrate the championship virtually no one expected. Coach Olsen obviously had to cancel his Mexican vacation so that he could be in Indianapolis to coach the team, and the guys decided to acknowledge their own MVP of the season. And it didn't go to Miles Simon, their leading scorer. It didn't go to their leading rebounder. It went to a walk-on freshman, a guy who didn't play a single second in any NCAA tournament game, a guy named Josh Pastner. The guys told Josh, without your leadership, there's no way we would have won the national championship this year. So if a walk-on freshman can gain the respect of his teammates and lead them to a championship, certainly many of you who are upperclassmen, who are key players on your teams, who are on scholarship, have the chance to step up and lead. I share Josh's story with you to remind you that you don't have to be a senior, you don't have to be the best player, you don't have to be on scholarship. Any one of you in this room who wants to do something special this season, who cares passionately about your team's success, who's willing to raise the bar and hold yourself and your teammates accountable, can step up and be a leader for your team. Which of you here today are going to take on this challenge and opportunity?